The Holy Tales.
Hello, my name is Tubby. I live here in this wonderful library and I love to eat books. I live here with my friends Gumbo and Freckles. Gumbo, Freckles, come out, wherever you are. Over there, on that great book, is Grand Old Holy. She is really old and wise and tells us wonderful stories when she is awake, that is. Oh, and we love to sing. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day or all the way. Hello, Holy. It's time for you to tell us a story from the Bible.
Yes. Today, I will tell you a story about a great woman called Ruth. But I am sure you know what you have to do after I'm done with my story.
Yes, we know. At the end of the story, you will ask us a question which we have to answer correctly.
Absolutely. So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin with the story. A long time ago, there was a famine in Israel. A man named Elimelech from Bethlehem went with his family to live in the country of Moab. His wife's name was Naomi, and they had 2 sons called Mahlon and Chilion. After a few years had passed, Elimelech died. His sons married 2 Moabite women called Oprah and Ruth. About 10 years later, Mahlon and Chilion died too. So Naomi was left with 2 of her daughters-in-law and no husband or sons. Sometime later, Naomi heard that the Lord had blessed Israel. There were good crops again and the famine was over. She decided that it was time to return to Bethlehem, her hometown. Before she was leaving, she told her daughters-in-law not to leave their land and stay back with their mothers. But both the women wanted to go with her to Bethlehem in Israel. Naomi tried to make them understand why they should stay back and not go with her. Finally, she could make Oprah understand, who decided to stay back. But Ruth refused to leave her. Naomi said to her, "Your sister-in-law has decided to stay with her people and be loyal to her God. You should also stay back with her." But Naomi could see that Ruth had made up her mind to go with her. So she said nothing more. They traveled together and finally reached Bethlehem. The people of Bethlehem were very happy to see them. So children, wasn't that a wonderful story? Well, today's question is, what was the name of the town where Elimelech and Naomi were from?
It was called Moab. No, silly. They were from a town called Bethlehem. Isn't that correct, Holy?
Yes, it was Bethlehem. Moab is where they moved to.
Oh, I got confused. There were so many names today.
It's all right, dear. Now all of you can go back to singing while I take my nap. Bye, kids. Hello, kids.
Hi, Holy. It's time for you to tell us another story from the Bible.
Well, I will tell you a story. This is the story of a loyal daughter-in-law, Ruth.
Oh, great! Another story about a good woman. I love stories about women. Me too.
Today's story is about Ruth working in the field of Boaz. A long time ago, Naomi, a widow, and her daughter-in-law, Ruth, also a widow, had left Moab, where they had lived, and gone back to their hometown, Bethlehem. They were poor and had almost nothing. It was a custom in Bethlehem to allow poor people to pick up the leftover corn during harvest time. One day, when they had nothing to eat, Ruth said to Naomi, This is harvest time. Let me go to the fields to gather some grain and find someone who will be kind to me." Naomi let her go. So Ruth went out to the fields to gather grains for her mother-in-law and herself. There was a rich and well-known man named Boaz. It so happened that Ruth was in the fields which belonged to him. She walked behind the workers, picking up the heads of the grain which they left. At mealtime, Boaz called Ruth and asked her to eat with the workers. She ate till her hunger was satisfied and then started again to gather grains. Boaz ordered the workers,
"Let her gather grain even where the bundles are kept. Don't stop her. Pull out some heads of grain from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up."
Ruth worked in the field for the whole day, gathered a large basket full of grain, and went back home. Ruth shared food with Naomi and told her that she had worked in the field of a man named Boaz.
That was so nice of Boaz.
Yes, Tubby, Boaz was a very generous man. So the question today is, what was the custom of Bethlehem during harvest?
I will answer the question. The custom was to let the poor people pick up grains from the field during harvest.
Very good, Freckles.
Now you may go back to sleep, Holy. We shall come back soon for another story. Bye.
Goodbye, children.
Wake up, Holy. Wake up. It's story time.
Yes, it is. Today's story is about how good things happen to good people. It is the story of a good woman named Ruth and a man named Boaz getting married. Long time ago, there was a wealthy and kind man named Boaz. He lived in Bethlehem. One day, Ruth, a poor widow, happened to go to his field to pick up grains for her mother-in-law, Naomi, and herself. Boaz was extremely kind to her, especially because she was such a good daughter-in-law, and allowed her to pick up baskets full of grain. Boaz became very fond of Ruth, and so, a few days later, he asked Ruth to marry him. The Lord blessed them with a son, whom they named Obed. The people of Bethlehem were very happy, and they praised the Lord. One of the women went and said to Naomi, "The Lord has given you a grandson to take care of you. May the boy become famous in Israel." Naomi loved the baby boy and Ruth with all her heart. Ruth had left her own hometown so that her mother-in-law would not be alone. Ruth had done more for her than even her own sons would have done had they lived. Naomi picked up the baby boy, held him close, and took care of him. She knew this child would bring new life to her and protect her in her old age. It was because of Obed that the kings of Israel were partly descendants of foreigners, since his mother, Ruth, was originally from Moab. Obed had a son called Jesse, whose son would become King David. So although the Israelites were special people, God used others as well to carry out his plans.
Oh, so now I get it. Obed was King David's grandfather. Yes. So, what's the question for today, Holy?
Today's question is, what was Obed's son called? Or, what was King David's father's name?
Obed's son and King David's father's name was Jesse.
Excellent, kids!
Come on, Gumbo. Come on, Freckles. Let's sing our song. Holy, you can join us too. It's within my heart a melody. Jesus whispers sweet and low. Here now I am with thee.
The Holy
To watch more videos, please subscribe.
He created plants and trees. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. Samson, he became the strongest man on earth. He was so strong that he did not need an army. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the